God in this world is my boss and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand? You need people like me so you can burn your fucking fingers.
I am the prodigy, probably. An oddity, commodity to fuck up your psychology. I honestly, possibly, constantly body these fucking wannabes. I am the novelty, fulfillment of the prophecy. I am apostasy's atrocity, demonstrably an anomaly. Just check the verbosity of my anthology. What you want, I do this shit unconsciously. I told you after Devil's Night, I'm coming down swinging, hit 'em with that boom, and keep their heads ringing. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. But you sleep, I told you what I do. What if I just switch the flow, let the pieces fall, call it domino. I kill in force, Idaho, you the hoe. I know you know how to ride this boat, rodeo. Like fuck with you a little, it'll ripple, cripple. But I give you this pickle. What am I trying to say? If A can beat me, then we can see. And after that, yeah, you can get the D. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. But you sleep, I told you what I do.
Say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Why does it do that? Why does it do that? I give these great intros, and this thing, one time it unmutes on its own, the other time it does mute on its own. I'm on the right one. I want to use number 2. Should be good now. All right. What I said was, no, you're never going to meet another bad guy like this. Let me tell you. And then I said... Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome. As an Atheist Network group, would love to present this awesome Atheist YouTube channel where we love theists as the best we can. The best we can. And I don't know why technology hates me so badly. But as I always say, my father did not raise a quitter. I keep going and going and going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. And I'm a drummer, so it all makes sense. It's prophetic. Drummer. I am the fulfillment of the prophecy. What's up, everybody in the chat? Hey, Ron, Crystal, Kyle, good to see you, brother. The always beautiful Jena, of course. Of course, and I know Phil's here. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? So I'll have some fun tonight. I'll have some fun. And I was going to have a special guest tonight, but he's doing dad duties, so that's way more important than this YouTube shit. He's doing dad duties, so we'll get him on another time. I think I'm going to try to just put a little, like, 2, 3, 4 person panel together on a couple of these from Resurrected Eyes, so we can just completely dismantle everything. But the offer remains. I even put it on our community tab. with the email. I put the email like 3 or 4 different places. If you want to actually have a conversation, I'm not nearly as shit talky when we're engaged in a conversation. But yeah, yes, this is YouTube, and I talk way more shit when I'm reviewing. But if you watch this, I'm down to have a conversation. But as long as you keep weaving and dipping and dodging, the more shit I'm going to talk. What do I mean by that, you ask? Well, you made a comment on one of my reviews of your content, and it said something along the lines of, this is the worst review I've ever seen, and then something, something, something. When I went to then comment on your, reply to your comment, you deleted it. Then my homie, Dr. Joshua Bowen, made a comment, it was either today or yesterday, on one of your posts on the community tab, and you also deleted that. So, you keep bringing up the word dishonest, and you don't respect, and, the other things, which I'm sure we'll hear again tonight. I run from no one. I'm right here. I'll have the conversation, and I'll back off all of the shit talking and actually have a conversation with you. But until then, I take this as a joke, and I will treat it as such. So tonight, we will be reviewing his commentary on a conversation. And by the way, I think he has a chub for Derek. But we'll be reviewing his commentary on a conversation between Derek Lambert from Myth Vision. Go subscribe if you haven't anyway. And you'll learn from Reed tonight that Derek is only in this for the money. Us atheists, we're only in this for the big money. And I can tell you that's so true. I like when I end these streams at night, I just throw $100 bills on our bed, and we just sleep on top of $100 bills. And we fuck on it. Yeah, that's how good the life of a YouTuber is. Let me tell you. Oh, that deserves a drink.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get fucked up. 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 Get fucked up.
Now, to first attack the honesty/dishonesty, or representation or misrepresentation, there are throughout his commentary little subtle, but then also not subtle shots taken at Bart Ehrman and the homie Derek. So before we break anything down on the video, I want to play one part of the video that he just ironically left out. So ironically left out of his commentary. And that is when Bart Ehrman is talking about the text towards the end, and that you can read these things, study these things critically, and still be a believer. He's not asking you to not believe. He's just asking you to be an educated and informed theist. So we're going to play that first.
Who are experts on Revelation. I mean, I think, famous scholars that if you know anything about the book of Revelation and you know who's written about it, say in the last 20 years, New Testament scholars, most of them are Christian, almost all of them. I can't think of anybody who's not a Christian, actually.
So all the things we're talking about, which we're going to go through step by step, Bart Ehrman's credentials. Because, again, if you want to talk about dishonesty and misrepresenting or resurrected eyes, you did a piss poor job of being honest and being direct on what this man has accomplished and the notoriety that is behind the name Bart Ehrman. So we're going to make sure we hit that, because if anybody was being deceptive in this, That was you, homeboy.
Actually. So this is not what leads you away from faith. This leads you to an informed faith. So if people who are Christian can still be Christian. Being Christian does not mean you believe in the Bible. Right. Being Christian means that you have this idea that there is a divine being in the world, and that Christ in some way manifests this divine being, so you can understand God better or relate to God better. There are lots of different kinds of Christian. I left Christianity because I thought that I could no longer accept the idea of a powerful and loving God in charge of this world, given all of the horrible, horrible suffering in it.
I'm sorry, Bart. What did you just say? It wasn't the examination of Revelation that led you away from Christ or Christianity. It was one of the same reasons I walked away, and many, 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 many others walk away from this faith we call Christianity. And that is, how does your God exist, yet there are all of these atrocities, all of this nasty shit? And the only way, yes, you dishonest apologist, make it work, is in your own mind. You grab the world's largest harmonizer, whatever that looks like, and you harmonize the fuck out of that book to make it make sense.
And I just got to a point, I didn't believe that there's a God who's active in any way at all in this world. So that's why I left Christianity. It had nothing to do with knowing that there is no rapture in the New Testament, or that the 666 is Nero, or that the enemy of Revelation is Rome. It's got nothing to do with any of that. That led me away from being a fundamentalist and moved me away from being an evangelical to being a liberal Christian. But liberal Christian scholars agree with most of this.
So there we have that. So let's go ahead and make sure if we're gonna paint this picture, resurrected eyes. If we're gonna paint this picture, let's not be dishonest, as you were so quick to point them fingers. Let's make sure we're discussing everything. And you left that part. You conveniently left that part out of your commentary, your quote unquote review, because Bart is 100% correct in how he just broke that down. So get out of here with the bullshit. Next. We are going to, together, we're going to read through Bart Ehrman's credentials. What's up, Tina? See you, Tina. We're going to do this together. Why? Because and I'm going to steal words from Resurrected Eyes. I have no respect for these people that misrepresent and don't tell the entire story. So let's do this. Read along, shall we? Bart D. Ehrman is the James A. Gray Distinguished Professor at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. He began his teaching career at Rutgers University and joined the faculty in the Department of Religious Studies at North Carolina in 1988, where he has served as both the Director of Graduate Studies and the Chair of the department. Professor Ehrman completed his Master's of Divinity and PhD degrees, plural, at Princeton. Where? Princeton Seminary, where his 1985 doctoral dissertation was awarded magna cum laude. An expert on the New Testament in the history of early Christianity, has written or edited 30 books, numerous scholarly articles, and dozens of book reviews. In addition to the works of scholarship, Professor Ehrman has written several textbooks for undergraduate students and trade books for general audiences. 6 of his books have been on the New York Times bestsellers list. Misquoting Jesus, God's Problem, Jesus Interpreted, Forged, and How Jesus Became God. His books have been translated into 27 languages. You know, but what the fuck does this guy know? I mean, he's an idiot. This guy's a fucking idiot. Awards and appearances. Professor Ehrman has been the recipient of numerous academic awards, grants, and fellowships, including North Carolina's Undergraduate Student Teaching Award in 1993, the Philip and Ruth Hedelman Prize for Artistic and Scholarly Achievement in 94, the Bowman and Gordon Gray Award for Excellence in Teaching 98 through 2001, the Pope Spirit of Inquiry Teaching Award 2008, and the Religious Liberty Award from American Humanist Association. Professor Ehrman also has featured widely on television, radio, and print media, including The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, The Colbert Report, CNN, Discovery Channel, History Channel, National Geographic, BBC, Fresh Air, Talk of the Nation, The New Yorker, Time Magazine, Newsweek, The New York Times, and The Washington Post. And he now lives in Durham, North Carolina with his wife and their dog, Billy. So you'll notice at the beginning, Resurrected Eyes does his best for his listeners, right? He's doing this for his listeners because he's not worried about the truth. He's worried about what he believes in. That's the difference, sir, between a skeptic and a believer. You want to believe it, or you need to believe this. We want evidence in order to say we believe in a true thing. We want to believe in more true things than not. So what you do up front is start doing the scholar. If he's a scholar, if you're a scholar, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You either better learn to do better, be better, or shut the fuck up. You're wading the waters way over your head. Isn't there a scripture on like humility somewhere in that book? I mean, I know there is, especially in Proverbs. I know there is. Hold on, I'm getting the next screen set up here. All right, so now we'll get into, and I'm with you, Crystal, like the History Channel isn't even a history channel anymore, but it's still places that Resurrected Eyes hasn't been. Fuck, I haven't been there. Doing more than I'm doing. Have a drink.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, bang.
Get fucked up. 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 Get fucked up.
So now, part of his comment on one of the other videos I did of his was, well, this is the worst review I've ever seen, and you sped my video up, made me sound like something. Well, just to be clear, I do that very frequently, and I even announce it because I did have a fellow atheist or a fellow skeptic point that out to me. I said, you know what? That's fair. From now on, I need to announce that. So now I don't speed it up until I announce it. So that was announced, and I remember that stream, and I announced it. I'm going to speed this up, or else I'm never going to get through this video. But for tonight, just for you, Resurrected Eyes, I'm not going to speed this up. The world needs to hear how disingenuous and how biased your framework is around this and how you're approaching this. And we will go step by step through it. Do we get all the way through the video? Probably not. Probably not. And I tend to not to do two-parters or, you know, two-piece and a biscuit, because then it's just like, it gets boring. Because these apologists, especially online, it's the same arguments. And unless they do something like this, where now they're talking about so-and-so's dishonest, so-and-so's doing this for the money, so-and-so's doing this for what? So now I'm interested. Now I'm interested, because you're making claims, you're making assumptions for you to build clout. Because isn't it funny? He talks about in this, Derek only wants to make money. He only does this to make money. Well, you're monetized. Why are you doing this? Sir, why are you doing this thing we call YouTube, and it's monetized? And on one of your videos, you thank one of your patrons for buying you a brand new computer and a brand new camera and other shit. Like, what? Come on, bro. Let's let real be real. All right, is everybody ready? Is everybody ready? Remember, this is what we're dealing with.
You would execute a baby if you were commanded to it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. And what's up? I see John Christian in the house. What up? What up? What up? Yeah. Let's as Ree would say, let's jump right in.
What's going on, guys? Resurrected Eyes here. All right, so today, guys, I'm doing a quick video. I recently saw a video that was very evil, and I'm gonna go ahead.
And I already have to say, you fit into the Christian model very well, because when you say a quick video and it's over an hour long, you sound like the typical Christian pastor. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Getting ready to wrap it up. We're going to end the sermon. We're going to end the message right here. And then fucking an hour later, we're still wrapping it up. Like a goddamn Chipotle burrito.
I didn't play the clip. The reason I want to touch on this, guys, is because this person who did the video, he is someone who's known to try to spark controversy for views and is always asking for money. But he had someone on who goes by the
Derek, God damn you, you're burning hell. God damn you, Derek. Always wanting to challenge faith and challenge bad ideas and bad beliefs and hold people's feet to the fire. Fuck you, you little piece of shit. How dare you? And you want to make money doing it? In this country is dominated by Christians. You must be rich. You must be rich. I'm going to need you to pull your head out of your ass for a second or two and listen.
The name of Bart Ehrman, who is a well-known skeptic, agnostic scholar. And I want to demonstrate, guys, how you're going to see in the way that he tries to misrepresent Jesus Christ in the book of Revelation, and yet this person is supposed to be a quote-unquote scholar. So we're going to go over, I'm going to play the clip.
So we just went through this, so just we're clear. You can rewind a minute or two, and we go all the way through the credentials of Dr. Bart Ehrman. And it's not just a scholar. Like, it's not it's not Braxy and Mr. Pritchett here, right? We're talking about somebody that holds the credentials and can talk this shit, and you don't like it. pull your big boy pants up and let's deal with it.
I'm going to let you guys see it. I'm going to let you guys see as he tries to have this dramatic music in the background and let you guys see what Bart Ehrman says. And then we're going to go to the actual text.
Sorry, see, this is normally why I speed it up, because if I don't, we don't even get through a quarter of the fucking video. But you're talking about, they're bringing the dramatic music up. My mom was a praise and worship pastor for over 20 years. You want to talk about dramatic music? The pulling and the tugging of the emotions. And then, oh, by the way, we're passing the offering bucket around.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, bang.
Get fucked up. Get fucked up. Get fucked up. Get fucked up. Get fucked up.
And the reason I want you guys to see this is because I want you to see how this person is being used by Satan, in the sense that when you see the way that he tries to deal with the scriptures, and he's supposed to be a scholar. He's supposed to be someone who knows and is familiar with the languages.
He's not supposedly. He's not maybe. He's not could be. Small chance. There's a little bit of a possibility. I have an inkling. Not a suggestion. He is a scholar. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it. But he is. He is. And even his Christian counterparts respect him. You don't like him because you have a bias. You have an agenda, sir. But carry on.
And yet you're not going to see that reflected in the way that he tries to handle the text. So let's take a look and see what he says here. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Here we go.
Christ
Let's
says,
jump right into it.
Revelation chapter 2, that I will take Jezebel and I will throw her on a bed. Okay, so now some translations say hospital bed or sick bed. No, the word is bed, and she doesn't get sick, as in a hospital. Men come and have sex with her. Christ is thrown her on a bed. Men come and have sex with her. We're not told if they are raping her or if she's willing to have sex with them. But Christ says he's going to plague these men and he's going to kill her babies. Christ is going to kill her babies. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 22.
I want people to let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, I want people to actually read the Bible instead of being misled by you guys. So let's go ahead and go back to some of the things he says, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play it again, and then we're going to go bit by bit.
And Christ says, Revelation chapter 2, that I will take Jezebel and I will throw her on a bed. Okay, so now some translations say hospital bed or sick bed. No, the bed, and she doesn't get sick, as in a hospital. Men come and have sex with her.
Now, this is just straight up lie. And this is what gets me, is that these guys pretend to, especially Derek, you pretend that you're actually interested in knowing the truth. And yet, when you guys go into this, I'm going to show he's talking about the...
What's that one Alanis Morissette song? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? You claim to want the truth, but you've been invited, I don't know how many times, to actually have a conversation, but you dip, dodge, slide, maneuver, like have the conversation, bro. Have the real life conversation instead of just sitting back and listening to your echo chamber, 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 echo chamber, 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 chamber. You don't know where Derek or Bart are coming from. You don't know their motives. You don't know why they do what they do. Stop pretending. But it is those God goggles that you continue to look through that blind you from the fact that somebody may be actually making a point that you can learn from, and you can still remain a believer. That's why I played that clip that you left out of what Bart said. So stop it, bro. Stop it. Quit it with the bullshit and the masking, and just have a real life dialogue. It's easy.
Bed. Now let's see what the word in the Greek denotes when we look at this in the actual language, guys. Okay, so let's go here. This is the word that's used in the book of Revelation when it talks about the bed in Revelation chapter 2. So this is the word that's used there. Do you guys see that? Now, notice something. I want you to notice the context of how this word is used consistently. Matthew chapter 9, verse 2 denotes one who is what? A paralytic on a bed, right? That word is used because, in other words, it's a picture of someone who's on a bed. In other words, they're stopped. They're immovable, right? They're not able to move. You see the word used again in Matthew chapter 9, verse 6. We see the word used again. Let's bring it down. Mark chapter 7, verse 30. And we see it again used in Luke chapter 5, verse 18, carrying on a bed a man, right? So in other words, the man is on the bed. We see that there. Now, what's the context of what we see here in all of these examples, right? What's the pattern? Let's look at a few of them. Matthew chapter 9, verse 6. I'm going to go here quickly. Matthew chapter 9, verse 6. We'll also look at Mark chapter 7, verse 30. Let's go there quickly.
And as he's talking about patterns, I want to point out that we, as humans, we are pattern seeking just by nature, right? That's first and foremost. Second of all, you really think Bart didn't dissect these things before he dove into them? Because once we get past the bed part, which I did the research after watching this, and I see why Bart is led to have that idea or entertain that notion, because it's not like, even the verses that you're sharing are not parallel with what Revelation is talking about at the least bit, not even slightly, when it talks about the bed. Because Jezebel, which you're going to say later is just a spirit, it's not a person. Jezebel is thrown onto the bed, and in that it's a bed. Then the rest follows. We'll let you get to that.
Matthew chapter 9, verse 6. Notice in this context, the word that's used there for bed, who's on the bed? The paralytic, right? In other words, someone who's not able to move. That's the connection there when you see that word bed used. It's referring to someone who's not able to move. Do you guys see that? Now, not only that, we also saw the other examples as well as we looked at, let's see here. We'll go ahead and drop to another example. Let's go to Mark 7:30. Mark 7:30. Let's go there. I want you guys to see this because this person's supposed to be a scholar, right? Mark 7:30. And when she had come to the house, she found the demon had gone out and her daughter lying on the bed. Do you see that? Now, what's the pattern there of every time the word bed is used? What's the biblical pattern there? In other words, that Greek word and that word that denotes bed, consistently, many of times, it's referring to someone, whoever is on that bed, they're not able to move. Right?
Boom. Boom. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting that. Now, let's present something a little different. Let me share this. This comes from fsrinc.org, Feminist Studies in Religion. And I will share the screen gladly. I'm glad you asked. If you can't read it, I don't know how much I can blow it up, but I'll read through it. It's not that long. But this is the problem with this book, is we run away from the violence. We want to run away from mistreating women and children. We want to run away from mistreating those in the LGBTQ plus community. We want to run away from that as Christians, right? So there's from Sarah Emanuel from the website I quoted. Over the last few months, and bear with me, it's like I said, it's not that long, but it's worth reading. Over the last few months, the Me Too movement has taken the world by storm. Survivors of sexual violence and sexual assault have been encouraged through the use of the Me Too hashtag to voice their stories, experiences, and concerns. The movement is now often considered to be both a pathway to healing and a pathway to saying no more. Feminist biblical critics are familiar with the phrase no more. In the face of the Bible's patriotic rhetoric, feminist Bible scholars often find themselves pushing against the grain in the androcentric narration. Many even focus on the Bible's own inclusion of sexual violence. To quote the biblical scholar Amy, and I don't know how to, I know who she is, but I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I won't butcher it. Sexual assault is common in the Bible, and it's mostly, though not exclusively, against women, she admits, or she adds later. For the past 40 years, feminist Bible scholars have drawn attention to the text, raising questions about the values they project. They're literally import and how they have been interpreted. The book of Revelation in one text among many biblical texts to which feminist critics draw their attention. Recently, in fact, I presented a paper on Revelation's I'm reading too fast. Intertextual Jezebel, which included a view to the sexual violence of Revelation 2. I, Christ through the mouth of John, know your works and your love and your faith. But I have this against you. You tolerate the woman Jezebel, the one who calls herself a prophetess, and who is teaching and misleading my slaves to commit whorings, and to eat foods sacrificed to idols. I gave her time to repent, but she is not willing to repent of her whorings. Behold, I am throwing her on the bed, and to those who commit adultery with her and do not repent, I am going into great distress. I will also strike her children with death. Because Jezebel practices idolatry, fornicates, and eats foods unclean, she represents for John a false follower of Christ. She, in sum, is an implied enemy, and John of Revelation's view must be punished for her wrongdoings. According to most feminist critics, the image of Christ with eyes like flames of fire, thrusting Jezebel on a bed, raises the issue of sexual abuse and sexual humiliation. According to Tina Pippin, in fact, a feminist critical optic may require such a view. In her now seminal work, Death and Desire, the Rhetoric of Gender in the Apocalypse of John, she writes, the feminist reading she is doing, she sees women marginalized and or as sexual objects and abused. And if you, I could put the link for the rest of this in here, but she refers to being in in a room with other scholars, and most of them being men. And anytime a question is being asked, the men's question, like their hands, when their hands are raised, they're the first to go to, and they try to hide it and usher it away as in nothing. But the fact that Jesus threw her, thrust her, forced her, whatever, onto a bed, we already got problems, bro. I don't care how you read that text, and I don't care what genre of text you think that falls under. We have problems because we have this Jesus dude that he's still a myth, throwing a woman onto a bed and then saying anyone now that comes and fornicates with her, they're going to get all this shit and the children will die. Which he's going to try to disprove Bart Ehrman in a minute by twisting the Greek language, which whether he is or is not correct, I don't even need to attack that. It's very simple to break it down, which we'll get to in a minute. But the fact that you think that you can dip and dodge that, bro, come on, man. Do better.
Right? And even the girl, after she had the demon cast out of her, why was she on the bed prior to that? Because what? She was obviously bedbound, right, by the demon. So when Jesus is talking about he's going to throw this woman on the bed, what is he saying? He's talking about he's going to bring her actions to a stop, because those people, as we saw in those verses, when they're on that bed, guess what? They're not active. They're not able to be up and around and moving. Do you see?
Yes, we see. Jesus is going to thrust or throw her on the bed and tell her to stop moving and shut the fuck up. It's the Bible. What's new?
That. So when Jesus in the book of Revelation is talking about this woman's going to be put on a bed, it's another way of saying that he's going to bring her actions to a stop. That's what he's talking about. Nothing in there about, oh, people might be raping her and all of this nonsense. Okay. Now, I want to also jump into some more, because this, honestly, guys, I was so disgusted with the way that Bart Ehrman tried to twist it.
And I'm disgusted by the way you're trying to, trying to dip and dance around this, bro. Like, I know you've said in the past that you're married, but I never see a wedding ring. But do you have a wife? Do you have daughters? Is your mom still alive? Because if I hear of anyone casting or throwing any of the women that I love in my life onto a bed to then essentially mute them and make them incapable of moving, I've got problems, bro. And those problems are going to have to be answered really, really quick. But you're doing the rockabye. You want to rockabye this shit away because you want it to be true. Rather than analyzing it and being skeptical of what you're reading, you're making excuses for a woman being thrown, thrust, slammed, whatever word you want to use, on a bed because she wouldn't submit. Because she would not submit. Hence, the rest of the book regarding women. Yes, we have problems, bro.
The text. But you know why they do this? Money. Money is their God. That's why he does it. That's why he sells the books, to make money. That's why Derek on Myth Vision, that's why he's always asking for money, because they want to make money, right, in blaspheming God. But we're going to expose.
Stop it. Stop it. That's all American Christian ministers, YouTubers, yada, yada. That's all you do, bro. Stop it. Chill, my babies. Chill. And this one goes out to Pat. Pat's out in Chicago getting fucked up. I saw your message, Pat. Love you.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, bang.
Get fucked up. 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 Get fucked up.
And Aunt Kathy's in the house. And I agree 100%. This guy has no clue what he's talking about. I agree. And Aunt Kathy, I've given him 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 invitations to come on and actually talk. And guess what? Guess what happens? Stupid is, stupid does, right?
It so that those people who actually care about what the Bible says, we're going to see and show these people are liars. Okay. Now let's jump into this. I want to also talk about what else he mentioned on there. You notice that Jezebel in the book of Revelation, it's a metaphor. Let me explain. So we're going to go to the book of Revelation. Let's look at this. And Bart, you're supposed to be a scholar. Okay. So, I mean, you should know this. You shouldn't have to.
No, again, not supposed to be. Quit misrepresenting. Quit being dishonest. Quit being a little prick. Quit being a little prick. All that is a flex that you can't back up. Quit being a little prick. We already read out the credentials because you refuse to do it, because you're the dishonest one. But now you want to go in the woo-woo, the woo-woo. That's where we're going to go. That now, Jezebel's not a real person. Babe, did you know this? Jezebel is just a spirit. So we're just throwing the spirit of Jezebel on the bed. Did you know that? Fuck.
To have somebody teaching you this. You should know this, Bart. Didn't you go to seminary? So let's go here. Let's go here. Revelation chapter 2. I want you guys.
Sorry, I have to. This kind of demonstrates that maybe you didn't go through seminary, because most of the people I know that go through seminary aren't Christians anymore. They're like, hold up. It said what? It said what? Nah, dog. Nah, dog, can't be hip with it no more.
To see this. Now, nevertheless, I have a few things against you, because you allow that woman Jezebel. Now, why does Jesus call her Jezebel? Is that really her literal name? No, because the book of Revelation, as it opens up, there is a lot of different language that's used there that are metaphors, right? Even in the previous chapter, if you look at the previous chapter, for example, when it's describing the appearance of Jesus Christ, we see language used. I turned to see the voice that spoke with me. Having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. But yet, these 7 lampstands, what? They're a metaphor. What are they a metaphor of?
Okay, cool story. So this is where, like, I took notes on your shit, bro. Like, because you're talking, your asshole, your asshole is falling out of your mouth right now. Your asshole is falling out of your mouth, because you want to keep bringing up genre, metaphor. Maybe it's analogy, but who determines that? You determine that? No, I'm pretty sure that's just left up to the reader. Because it does not denotate in the Bible anywhere. Now, just so you know, before you go into the Gospels, this is literal text. And before you go into Psalm or Proverbs, that these are poetic. Before you go into the books of the prophets, this is prophecy. Before we go to Genesis, this is literal. Like it does not denotate that. It does not mark that. This is man-made rubbish. It's nonsense. This is what Christian apologetics does to try to make it all make sense and then mentally theologically, philosophically, and doctrinally, you can masturbate to it because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good because we don't have a source. We don't have a source that tells us what genre, what book aligns with. And then there's a bunch of subgenres that go underneath. Who created those? How do we know those are true? So stop it, bro. Stop acting like you have this whole shit figured out because you don't. And that's why you're scared of having this conversation. That's why you're scared of having this conversation. Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen. Wrong button.
Could have been the right button.
Wrong, total wrong button. But I love the bow tie. God damn it.
That's always cool.
I love, like, I have a collection of bow ties. I didn't know you were a bow tie guy.
Yeah, it's a recent thing. By the way, I can hear myself.
Oh, yep. Let me change the settings.
Believe me, I don't want to hear myself. I know nobody else wants to hear me either, but I really don't want to hear myself.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
All right. Well, we were just talking about him. Just continue to misrepresent. I'm sure you were listening.
Actually, for the past 3 minutes, I haven't been because I've been trying to get up here. So I have a baby monitor next to me. This may last 12 seconds. It may last 10 minutes. I probably don't have a whole bunch of time, but yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about whenever it is appropriate, sort of the thoughts that I had while I was watching part of his stream today. So,
well, I know you're on a time constraint. I am not. So let's get it.
Yeah. So it's this idea that, and I want to admit, right up front, I was at a birthday party, my 5-year-old. So I was sort of listening in and out to his stream, which is probably good for everybody's mental health, honestly. But this idea that, and it's not just him that says this stuff, right? It's this idea that if it's metaphor, then it doesn't count.
Very good.
And you may have said this actually, while I was trying to find a power plug for this baby monitor, but it's worth reiterating if you did. I put in the side chat or whatever of his stream. So does that mean that Ezekiel 16, because it's a metaphor, is okay? And if anybody's interested in Ezekiel 16, this is where Israel is being compared to Yahweh's wayward bride, and the sexual violence that's inflicted upon her because of that. And people are very quick to be like, wow, this is a metaphor, right? It's a metaphor about the nation of Israel and their idolatry. And what I want to respond with is, look upon my fields where fucks are grown, right? Notice that they are barren. Because that shit don't matter. It doesn't matter in Luke 17 if Jesus and the disciples actually had slaves. When Jesus said, which one of you having a slave serving in the field all day would, when he comes back in, say, sit down and have dinner with me. It doesn't matter if they actually had slaves or not in this hypothetical situation. And the same is true with metaphor. There's a reason the metaphor works. There's a reason. Are you listening? There's a reason the metaphor works. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm sorry. I don't understand why this. I mean, I do understand, right? Because it wouldn't have meant anything to me either as a fundamentalist. But if the metaphor is these wicked people that are doing wicked things, I'm going to metaphorically throw them on the bed and have men rape them.
It's on.
Right? I mean, huh? And what stood out to me is this week, Heathen Queen put out a tweet where someone was using one of these like philosophical, moral hypotheticals, right? And we use those types of hypotheticals. I'm not a philosophy person, but people use those types of moral hypotheticals all the time, right? So, the one that you play for your drinking case. So if God told you, to kill a baby because it's citing 1 Samuel 15, that you would do it. The thing is, when we give that example, we probably feel a little weird saying it because it's not a great hypothetical to give,
right?
But the problem is that it has become seemingly like second nature. And I was talking to Megan about this. It seems like it's become sort of second nature for men in particular to use violence against women in hypotheticals almost as like a go-to. And like I'm included in that category, right? Because I live in the same patriarchal society. But now that it's been pointed out to me, I'm like, ooh, damn. So, like I people, this particular one was really grotesque. And I can't remember the specifics of it. But in a very real way, it doesn't matter that it's a metaphor or that it's a hypothetical because it entails,
Absolutely.
It speaks to something. And so if Ezekiel 16 is setting up violence against women in a metaphor, there's a reason that that's a problem for evangelical Christianity, because God shouldn't be using violence against women to make a point, right? Particularly if in the metaphor, he's the one doing it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, like this whole thing, and I'll shut up, but like listening to him go, oh, no, it's a metaphor. Don't you know what a metaphor is? Let me show you different places where it's metaphor. It's like, this is what I want you to do, right?
Yeah.
And I put in the side chat, like nobody's arguing that it's not a metaphor. That's not the point. Hang on, I think I just heard the baby monitor. So I may have to go. I'm so sorry, but like, let me say this as I close. If anybody's interested in this topic, violence against women, there is a stream that we did over on Heathen Queen's channel, and I can't remember the title of it, but it has to do with like violence against women, and it was just. It's a hard stream, but you can go. Maybe I'll grab it and throw it in the side chat when I get back from taking care of the baby. But yeah, it was a good stream. It's a hard stream to listen to, but I think for men in particular in this society, and certainly for men like your boy Ree, it's
not my boy.
It's take a breath. Take a pause and think, why is it that women don't want you using rape in hypotheticals? Why is it that they don't want you using violence against women in your hypotheticals? And why don't they want you using, certainly why is it a problem when the book of Revelation talks about like, I'm going to punish this group of people. And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to use this metaphor about a woman being raped. Why do we think that's bad? You should probably take a second and say something better than, well, it's a metaphor.
Yeah. Absolutely. And what you just shared there, and I'm glad you brought up, because when we get through that part, and then when he gets to the children or the child part, that's what I'm going to bring everything together, where it's like, listen to what the fuck is coming out of your mouth, bro.
Yeah.
You literally, metaphorically, just defended all kinds of abuses against women, whether it's, rape, assault, whatever. And now you're saying just because it's not a baby, it's okay to kill children?
Yeah.
Get out of here, bro. Come on.
Like these apologetics, I commented on a video today at that same birthday party, where it was, from what is it? 2 Kings 2, I think is where it's at. I can't remember, but the story of Elisha and the bears. And it always distresses me when apologists try to turn the Hebrew word for boy there into like teenager.
Like it matters.
Maybe an older teenager, right? Like to try like this is a gang. Like, no, please go learn Hebrew, right? And for that particular one, either go learn Hebrew or go ask somebody that knows Hebrew before you start talking. Particularly before you start talking with such authority, because, but you're absolutely right. Okay. Thank you very much. Pragmatic Crystal. Yeah. Put in there 2 Kings 2. That feels good. That feels good.
So you did read your Bible?
I did back in the 80s,
God damn it. But at the end of the day, we would agree that whether you take this as literal or it's metaphorical, there's something problematic that lies behind the notion that we will, when I say we, I'm speaking as an apologist or for an apologist, that we would sign off on a woman being thrown or thrust onto a bed to then have whatever happen. And according to him, that she can't move. She can't move. She's left to the devices of said God, right? That we do this. And then later in that same chapter, it is children are killed. Children are killed. Does it matter? Does it matter, ye apologist, whether that child is a newborn, a toddler, preteens, teens? Fuck, if they're in their 20s, it's still a child of a parent. And I have children that cover that spectrum from a little over toddler now to I have a grown ass adult child. I don't want any of them to be killed. What does that matter in that conversation?
I mean, let's think about this very simplistically, and then I'll back out so you can keep going. But like, why is it? I haven't thought this all the way through, so forgive me, ye philosophers, if this doesn't match up quite well. But why is it what would happen if we started making superhero movies and the superheroes started doing awful shit, right? Like, what would we do if the good guys in these movies, now they're superhero movies, right? That's, but they started doing things that we would consider to be evil, right? In order to punish other people, even if those people did things wrong. Wouldn't we struggle with that?
Oh yeah.
And why? And why would we struggle with that? Because, we wouldn't just say, well, it's superheroes, right? It's because the point that's being made, the thing that is being communicated is that this bad act, in whatever context it stands, in whatever type of literature it stands, the message is this bad act is considered the good thing. And yeah, I like nobody would want Thor. I don't even want to say it, right? But nobody would want Thor to have his sister in Ragnarok thrown onto a bed and raped by other men as a punishment. We would not stand for that as a society. That movie would not come out, and if it did, there would be an uproar.
Yep.
Even though it's a superhero movie, and it's because we know that's bad.
But it's metaphoric, Josh.
But it's superheroes, right? Like, I like. But this is why. I mean, last thing I'll say: why do you think that scholars, evangelical scholars, or translators go to great lengths, and like certainly the New Testament and Revelation is not my field of scholarship. But like I just looked at Craig Coaster's Revelation commentary, and like he cites like 5 different places in the New Testament and the Septuagint where this phrase of like putting them on a bed could mean like a bed of sickness. Why would you even? I mean, if it's a metaphor and it's not bad, why even just own it, right? Like it's just a metaphor. Why is it important to try now a bed of sickness, right? Bed of sickness. So again, I would leave that, the whole translation, understanding of the passage, whether it talks about a bed of sickness, I'd leave all that up to New Testament specialists. But just taking the step back, why is it that this would be something that you would want to soften or to make so that it's not a bed of sexual violence? Is because you recognize we don't want Jesus doing that, right? It doesn't matter that it's a metaphor.
No, bingo was his name-o. Yeah, and before you go, that's my problem with not to be fair, not just with Resurrected Eyes, but with many other online apologists, is you want to like go to sleep. You want to rockabye this shit to sleep, right? You want to rockabye it to sleep. That way people aren't putting attention on it and they're not talking about it. But when you continue to talk about it and try to usher it away as something that's not problematic, that's not harmful and not hurtful, for the ones that see it for what it is, you think we're going to shut up?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I know I keep saying it's the last thing I'll say, but this is the last thing that I'll say. The thing that stands out to me probably the most here is the fact that in his privileged position as a man who's probably never been raped by penetration, I don't know that. Maybe he has. God, I hope that he hasn't. It's very easy to say, it's just metaphorical. It's just metaphorical.
Yep.
It's a very different experience to read that as a woman. And the number of women, this is just how do you say it? You have a special way of saying it. Anecdotal. This is just anecdotal. But listening to other women talk about their experiences and the number of women that I talk to in the jail, that I've seen answer polls online, it's staggering how many women have been sexually molested or raped. And if you're not there, if you don't have that that lens through which to view something like Revelation 2, it's real easy to say, oh, it's just metaphor. I would highly encourage Mr. Ree to take a step back and think, well, what if that is what that text is about? And what if I have been, or very easily in this society could be, the recipient of sexual violence?
Mm-hmm.
How would I feel about such a metaphor? So, anyway, thank you for letting me jump on and interrupt. I hope that it wasn't a total waste.
No, you added tons of value that upon your education, you provided much more than I would have been able to do. So before I let you go, because I know you got the dad duties, two things. One, just remember when we're thinking online Christian apologetics, remember this.
You would execute a baby if you were commanded to it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The best part of that whole thing is the end where Skylar appended to it, "You're not going to heaven."
And then we do have a super chat from the homie Derek from Myth Vision, tithing to the Tang gang. I love you all and what you stand for. You as well. And Derek, if you didn't know it, Resurrected Eyes pointed out, you, me, Josh, the rest of us atheist YouTube content creators, we're out here for the dollar bills, y'all.
1, 2, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, Get fucked up. 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 Get fucked up.
No, appreciate you, Derek. Always got your back. Always got your back. But,
Hell yeah.
But
I do want to point out before I go two things. One, because we're talking about Bart Ehrman, in case anybody out there didn't know, Megan is the host of
that. Yes.
Yeah, Megan is the host of Bart Ehrman's podcast, Misquoting Jesus. So if we do want to ask him this question, you've got an in.
Oh,
come on, somebody.
Let the church say amen.
So definitely check that out, Misquoting Jesus. The other thing is I was actually downstairs listening to the babies, but working on my book, the second edition of the slavery, did the Old Testament or slavery, which, in case I haven't mentioned it elsewhere and you haven't heard it elsewhere, the book started off at around 200 pages. It's currently creeping up on 600. So,
oh shit.
So, yeah, it's going to be, I think, worth. If you've picked up the first copy, I think it'll be worth it to get the second edition. There's going to be a lot there. So,
yep. And if you don't know what Dr. Josh is talking about, did the Old Testament endorse slavery? This is the first one. The second one is coming soon to a theater near you, actually a bookstore near you. But the most recent, the Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament. Volume 2. Yeah, Volume 2. That means, sorry, Megan, Volume 3 is coming.
And I do have the outline for it, and I've been sort of piecing some things together. So it is in the works, but I did want to get the second edition out. So anyway.
So the song I wrote was right. I am the fulfillment of the prophecy.
That's how you do it, man.
I love you, brother, and I know you're doing bad duty.
Love you too, man.
But appreciate you coming on. Love you.
All right. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for letting me butt in here. Y'all take care.
All day.
Bye.
Hey, that's the homie. That's the homie, Dr. Yeshua Bowen. And before we go on to this last little part, because I want this to end in about 15 minutes, I'm going to play the video for Boom. And it's going to take me a second to get to the restroom, to use the restroom. I hope no one here listening ever has to struggle with or fight, whatever it is, be a victim of gout, but I get flare-ups like once or twice a year, and this shit in my knee is fucking killer. That's why I didn't stream last night. But I got to use the restroom. It's going to take me a minute to get there and back because I look like an old man wobbling around. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand? You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers.
I am the prodigy, probably. An oddity, commodity to fuck up your psychology. I honestly, possibly, constantly body these fucking wannabes. I am the novelty, fulfillment of the prophecy. I am apostasy's atrocity, demonstrably an anomaly. Just check the verbosity of my anthology. What you want, I do this shit unconsciously. I told you after Devil's Night, I'm coming down swinging, hit them with that boom, and keep their heads ringing. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. But you sleep, I told you what I do. What if I just switch the flow, let the pieces fall, call it domino. I kill in force, Idaho, you the hoe. I know you know how to ride this pole, rodeo. Like fuck with you a little, it'll ripple, cripple. But I give you this pickle. What am I trying to say? If A can beat me, then we can see. And after that, yeah, you can get the D. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom, I told you what I do. But you sleep, I told you what I do.
All right, I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. Yeah, that shit fucking hurts, man. Like, what was it? Yesterday? Was it yesterday, babe? Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday was brutal. Like I laid, and that's not like me. Like I'm the type, get up out of fucking bed, go till I can't go, till the go juice runs out. And I think I got out of bed like 2 times, maybe 3 times. That shit fucking hurts, man. Shit fucking hurts. If you've never experienced it, you only heard about it, this is the best way I can explain it. We'll get back. Actually, no, we want to get back into it. I'll DJ because now that Josh dropped all the bombs, there's no point in my ass following that up because he wrecked the shit in a good way. Yeah, Tina, me go to bed. Exactly. If I'm in bed for more than 3-4 hours, you know something got fucked up. The best way I can explain it is, well, like if it's in my ankle or like in my foot, it feels like every step I take is like, it's like somebody took a hammer and beat the fuck out of my feet and my ankle. And every time I take a step, like I can feel all the shards and everything. Like it's like that. I'm not exaggerating. It's excruciating. And then in my knee, for whatever reason, and this is the first time, I don't know how long it got in my knee. This is the first time it's been in my knee in a long time. It gets really swollen. And anytime I try to bend my knee, like if I were to try to attempt to like sit down like normally or like get in and out of a car, It's literally like somebody's snapping my kneecap, like trying to snap my kneecap. And like all the pressure and everything. It's stupid. It's stupid how painful it is. And not just Jenna, anybody that's known me my entire life, my pain tolerance is pretty goddamn high. But that shit, I had to drag, while she was at work, I had to drag myself out of bed and put myself in my office chair and pull our window open and sit by the window to get, because it was cold out, to get the cold breeze, because I was so hot and nauseous from the pain. And that's not like me. That's not fucking like me. But it's feeling, it's still stiff, still kind of painful. When I say kind of, because it doesn't even compare to yesterday. I can at least get up and stumble and rumble around. Thank you for listening to my comparison of normal Oz versus gout inflicted Oz. Yeah, and I have been drinking a lot of water, like, and I've even been. This may be too graphic. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I've even been not just drinking water, but like I took like 3 or 4 baths just to soak my leg and my knee in water. And I don't take a lot of baths, but it hurt. It hurt that bad. It hurt that fucking bad. But now we'll leave the rest of this. I think Dr. Josh gave us a good jump off there. Good jump off. And I will DJ here. We're in at a good point. So 15 minutes, so 20 minutes. I just got to get everything reconnected, and I'll DJ because I got to get the knee feeling better, and I got to be on point because April 8th up in Michigan, that will so far be our, the 3 of us together will be our biggest venue, our biggest turnout so far, just based on venue and ticket sales so far. So I got to get to work in. Got to get to work in. How do I want to end this up? Resurrected Eyes, the invite is still there. Even though I didn't go through this the way I wanted to, I'd much rather Josh jump in and offer his expertise than me just keep going on. So the invite is still there, and we can have Dr. Josh on, we can have Dr. Kip on, we can have Pat Lowinger on. Shit, I'll get fucking Derek to come on. We can all chop it up, put up or shut up, homie. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Put up or shut up.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand? You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers.
I am the prodigy, probably. An oddity, commodity to fuck up your psychology. I honestly, possibly, constantly body these fucking wannabes. I am the novelty, fulfillment of the prophecy. I am apostasy's atrocity, demonstrably an anomaly. Just check the verbosity of my anthology. What you want, I do this shit unconsciously. I told you after Devil's Night, I'm coming down swinging, hit 'em with that boom, and keep their heads ringing. Boom, I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom. I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom. I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom. I told you what I do. But you sleep? I told you what I do. What if I just switch the flow? Let the pieces fall, call it domino. I kill in force. Idaho, you the hoe. I know you know how to ride this boat. Rodeo. Like fuck with you a little, ripple, cripple. But I give you this pickle. What am I trying to say? If A can be me, then we can see. And after that, yeah, you can get the D. Boom. I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom. I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom. I told you what I do. I told you what I do. Boom. I told you what I do. Put you sleep. I told you what I do.
Say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again.